smoke, and there it is rising up in a dark design.
Plattsburgh's outdoor summer concerts are drawing carloads of fans from across the Adirondacks and Vermont to the city's waterfront to hear live performances on Saturday evenings. The music lover behind Curbside at Harborside, Benjamin Pomerance, is our guest this week. He talked with our Will Hool about the success of the concert series.
So why did you personally want to organize a concert series like this? What drove you to do that?
Why did I want to personally organize? That's a great question. It began completely by happenstance. I'm a journalist part-time for the Lake Champlain Weekly here in town, and I was doing a story about the Sunset Drive-In movie theater over in Colchester, Vermont, and went there to talk to the owner, Peter Handy, and saw that evening how nice and socially distant a drive-in movie was. And being a music addict, I love music of pretty much every genre out there, and I have been missing going to concerts. It's part of my summer. It's part of what I do. And I've been missing the chance to be part of that concert experience. I said, wouldn't it be nice to be able to have a situation where people could come in a drive-in movie type of format, only instead of watching a movie, they get to watch live music. And I mentioned that in an email to the mayor of the city of Plattsburgh, Colin Reed, and Mayor Reed wrote back that same evening with enthusiasm about it, and it just kind of mushroomed from there. It began in the most grassroots way possible and has evolved in the most grassroots way possible. And it truly is because of all these people who have taken their time, musicians to come and perform for far less than they typically get when they perform a gig, right? Just a percentage of the gate. And people who have taken their time to volunteer to be at the gate, people to volunteer to park cars, people like Russell, our intrepid sound engineer, who has figured out ways to not only amplify on the stage, but also to broadcast over an FM radio frequency here in the parking lot. So you can be in your cars. If the mosquitoes are bad, you put the windows up and put the radio on and hear it nice and clear there. These are all people who, because of this love for live music, have come together to make the magic happen. It's not just me by any stretch. This would not happen with me alone. There were a lot of hands making this work.
Why do you think people in Plattsburgh need to hear live music right now?
Live music has a special role. Why people need to hear live music? It's because it's part of something that we can attach ourselves to that really feels almost normal in this very abnormal year, in this abnormal summer. There's a history of human beings in response to challenges, in response to tragedy, in response to social unrest, being able to connect with great works of music of all genres. And when that music is played live and you have that performer-to-audience connection, there truly is nothing else like that in the entire world.
Why is music so vital right now?
I think music is vital now because it is, number one, a way of connecting. It's a human-to-human interaction that goes beyond just listening to the television, listening to a speech, listening to a soundbite. Music connects, and I can't explain how. There's some magic to it, but it connects at a more visceral level, a deeper level, a more intimate level. It could be a solo performer singing a folk song with a guitar. It could be a 17-piece jazz combo. It doesn't matter, but the music itself, when it's live, can reach people and can speak to people in a way that's memorable. I can talk about concerts that I saw when I was 5 years old, and I can talk about them in detail and how they reached me and moved me in a special way. And I talk to people here in the parking lot at these concerts, and they have similar stories of, this is how this music left an imprint on me this evening here at the Harborside lot. And that's very special to hear that and to think that, we're leaving an impact. And I think also the music will prevail because of what we're seeing here in this exact series, right? We're seeing artists, we're seeing people like our sound engineer, Russell, we're seeing volunteers working the gate, parking cars, and we're seeing people in the audience. And there is a desire for music, especially a desire for live music, that I think in the face of all odds prevails. After President Kennedy was shot, right, you had famously Leonard Bernstein coming out and saying, this will be our response to violence, right, to make music, more passionately than ever before. Music has been there in these difficult times, and it's helped human beings get through those difficult times together. And it also is a very healing force. Right? Everyone has that song or that orchestral work or that solo piano sonata or that something that when times are difficult, you put on the stereo or you put on your iPod or whatever, right? Whatever your listening device of choice is, and you listen to that piece of music. And somehow in the midst of those troubled times, that music uplifts you. And so I think the arts prevail because when people need hope, they turn to the arts for that hope and for that rejuvenation. And as long as that human need is there, the arts will be there to fill it.
The concert goers here, they're in their cars, they're not seated out together, they're in their cars. How do they show their appreciation for the musicians on the stage?
So that was something I'd never really thought about before the concert series began. How are they going to show, if they're sitting in their car, right, watching a concert, how do they show their appreciation for what's on the stage? Well, what they do is they beep their horns. And so we have a new species of applause, and it's the sound of car horns. And it's fun because every show, I get to watch the performers. And the reaction to that first time when the car horns sound is always priceless. And one of the best things that I've seen was our third concert of the year. We had a great fiddle player, Gretchen Kohler, and a great jazz pianist, Daniel Kelly. And when Daniel Kelly was here doing his solo portion of the concert, he said, I'm going to do an improvisational piece, just free improv right here on the spot. And people blew their horns in appreciation. And so he began the improv piece by mimicking on the keyboard the sounds of the blowing horns. And that became the seeds of this entire free improv piece that he played and developed right there on the spot. It began with the blowing of the car horns. So it's a really neat thing. It's one of those unique experiences you get to have at a drive-in concert, is blowing your horns to applaud for the performers.
You say it's kind of a sign of the times.
It is a sign of the times. You know, and we have some people who are out of their vehicles. They're close enough to be able to touch their vehicles at all times, so they keep socially distant. So if they're out of the vehicles, they'll clap. But those who stay in the vehicles, because it's kind of a hot night, you can go and stay in the vehicle and be air conditioned. You can blow your horn, and it's kind of the species of applause that we have right now in this unconventional but still very special live music setting.
You can watch the extended interview with Benjamin Pomerance and find the full schedule of concerts for the rest of the summer on our website at mountainlake.org.